Enemies of the mind you have to fight in the summer. One of them is pessimism, which tries to make you see only the negative side. Of course, there is a negative side. Life is partly negative, so what? News? If the glass is half empty, it is half empty. You say, well, I was only taught to see it as half full. Sure, it's half full, but it's also half empty. I mean, can't you handle that? I mean, it's not that hard. But here's what pessimism would try to do to you. Make you believe it's only half empty. And when pessimism comes to your mind, you have to educate it because pessimism is stupid. Pessimism tries to make you believe it's only half empty. You have to tell pessimism, you've never been to school, too dumb and stupid to know. Sure, it's half empty, but it's not just half empty, it's also half full. I'm asking you to take control. Be in control of your own mind. Be in control of your own destiny. Fight against your enemy in the summer. So you have to learn to love like a mother, hate like a father, give life like a mother, nurture, take life like a father. A father says to anything that threatens his family, take 2 or 3 more steps toward this family and you will cease to exist. I am the father. I kill, fight against your enemies now. It's also possible to love like a father, hate like a mother. I'm not saying it's impossible. Nothing is more dangerous than an angry mother. Love like a father, hate like a mother, give life like a mother, take life like a father, or however you want to arrange it, just so you nurture your values, nurture your family, nurture what's valuable to you, nurture your organization, nurture your distributors, nurture your customers, take care of your responsibilities, feed the nourishment. But then I'm also asking you to fight against your enemies. Wield the sword against your enemies. Whatever would destroy those values, wield the sword against that. Have you ever imagined unlocking the secrets of the world's greatest minds without any effort? It may seem incredible, but now it's a reality with our kit of 100 summarized books, including audiobooks and PDFs of the most valuable parts. Learning has become more accessible than ever. Don't miss this opportunity. Get your kit by clicking the first link in the description. If it's worry, wield the sword against it. If it's a threat, threaten back. You have to be like your bloodstream. A good illustration is red blood cells to nurture like a mother, white blood cells to fight and kill like a father. You have to do a bit of negative thinking and just think positively. Thank God for the white blood cells that think negatively all day long. White blood cells say, just show me some infection and I'll kill it. Whatever threatens this body and its future is threatened. Whatever doesn't belong to kill this body is dead. I'm asking you, wield the sword against your enemies, whether they are external or internal. Protect your family, protect your future, protect your values, love, nurture, but also fight against whatever is out there to fight against you. Seek courage from those who have been through the battle. They have shared their stories on this stage. They have been through it. They know what it's about. Seek courage in that. And in the summer, the fight ends there. It wouldn't be positive without the negative. It's part of the life scenario. I mean, as they say, there is a time to laugh and a time to cry. You have to become so sophisticated and well-educated that you don't laugh when it's time to cry. You also have to learn to cry well. How will you identify with others if you don't cry with them? The negative side is very important. So don't ignore it. You need to let it be part of the scenario. In fact, you need to learn to master it. Negativity should not be ignored. It should be mastered. It makes us better by fighting against it. It makes us better by recognizing it and fighting. The tyranny that settles in vulnerable countries, the ignorance that invades your life, the procrastination that robs your fortune, or the bad health that is the legacy of neglecting your health disciplines, you have to fight against the enemies, those outside of you, as well as those within. So learn to deal with the negative. Negativity can actually be a powerful force for change. It plays a key role on the day that turns your life upside down. There are 4 stages on the day that changes your life, and the first is disgust. Disgust is a negative emotion, but it can have a very positive, motivating effect. Disgust says, enough. What an important day that can be. I met a beautiful, accomplished, extraordinary woman in New York. She was vice president of a company I did some work for, and I learned her story. She never went to high school or college. I asked, how did you get here? She said, well, when I was a young mother, once I asked my husband for some money, and he said, for what? Before the day was over, I decided I would never ask again. So I started looking for opportunities, taking courses, and educating myself. Now I'm a vice president and I make a lot of money. I kept my promise because I never had to ask again. That was the day that changed her life. The day she said enough. The next stage in a day that changes your life is decision. If you sat down today and made a list of changes you decided to make, that list could provide inspiration for the next 5 or 10 years. What an inspiring day. The day you decide to change your life. The third stage is desire, wanting that change is enough. Sometimes desire waits for a trigger, waits for something to happen. It can be a movie, a seminar, a sermon, a book, a confrontation with an enemy, or a conversation with a friend who finally speaks the truth to you. Whatever the experience, it's very valuable. Here is my best welcome to all experiences. You never know which one will turn your life upside down. Don't build walls. The walls that keep disappointment out also keep happiness out. Tear down the walls. Go after the experience. Let it teach you. The last stage of a day that changes your life is resolution. Resolution says, I will. These are two of the most powerful words in the language. The best definition of resolution I've ever heard came from an elementary school student in Foster City, California. I was speaking to a class one day and we were discussing some key words. I asked the kids, who can tell me what resolution means? Some didn't know the answer and some tried to guess. The last answer I got was the best. A girl about 2 rows back says, I think I know, Mr. Rohn. I think resolution means promising yourself you'll never give up. I said, that's the best definition I've ever heard. She's probably giving her own seminar somewhere today. Promise yourself that you'll read the books until your skills change. You'll attend seminars until you can understand what they're teaching. You'll practice until you develop the skills. Never give up until you get what you want. Don't miss the chance to grow. Resolve to pay the price until you learn, change, grow, and become what you want to be. You'll discover some of life's best treasures when you pay that price. It's not what happens that determines most of your future. It's not what happens. What happens happens to all of us, he said. The key is what you do about it. It's not what happens. It's what you do about it. And he said, if you start that process of change, do something different in the next 90 days than you did in the last 90 days. Like picking up books to read. Do something different, like new health disciplines, relationship with your family, whatever it is. No matter how small it is. If you start doing different things with the same circumstances, since we can't change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves, we can change what we do. And then he gave me another secret to success when he said, what you have at the moment, sir, you have attracted by the person you have become. What you have now, you have attracted by the person you have become. Some simple principles here. Once you understand that, it starts to explain so much. Now, sometimes this is a bit hard to accept. Blaming yourself instead of the market, taking responsibility instead of throwing it to someone else. This transition is sometimes a challenging mission. And this one was a bit hard for me. He said, sir, you have just coins in your pocket. You have nothing in the bank. Creditors are calling. You're behind on your promises. And he says, that's how it happens up to now. You've attracted these things to yourself by the person you have become. Now I said, how can I change all that? He said, very simple. If you change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you have to change is what's inside. There are 2 phrases I'd like you to ponder for a moment. The first is that life and business are like the changing seasons. That's one of the best ways to illustrate life. It's like the changing seasons. Here's the second phrase. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Now, with those 2 key phrases in mind, let's go to what I consider to be the 4 major lessons in life to learn. The first lesson is learn how to handle the winters. They come regularly right after autumn. Some are long, some are short, some are hard, some are easy, but they always come right after autumn. That won't change. There are all kinds of winters. The winter when you can't figure it out. The winter when everything seems to go wrong. A writer called it the winter of discontent. There are economic winters, social winters, personal winters, when your heart is smashed into 1,000 pieces. Winter brings disappointment, and disappointment is common to all of us. So learn how to handle the winters. You must learn how to handle the nights. They come right after the days. You must learn how to handle difficulty. It always comes after opportunity. You must learn how to handle recessions. They come after expansions. That won't change. The big question is what you do about the winters. You can't get rid of January simply by tearing it off the calendar. But here's what you can do. You can get stronger, you can get wiser, and you can get better. Write down that trio of words, stronger, wiser, better. The winters won't change, but you can. Before I understood this, I used to wish it was summer when it was winter. When things were hard, I wished they were easy. I didn't know any better. Then Mr. Schoaf gave me the answer from a part of his very unique philosophy when he said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for fewer challenges, wish for more wisdom." Here's the second major lesson in life. Learn to love the spring. Spring is opportunity, and spring always follows winter. What a wonderful place for spring, right after winter. If you were to place it somewhere, that would be the place. God is a genius. Days follow nights, opportunities follow difficulties, expansions follow recessions, and all this happens regularly. You can count on it. However, the mere arrival of spring is not a sign that things will be fine in autumn. You must do something with spring. In fact, everyone has to get good at one of two things: planting in the spring or begging in the autumn. So seize the day, seize the opportunity, and read all the books you can to learn how to seize the spring. Get busy quickly with your springs, your opportunities, as there are only a handful of springs given to each of us. Life is brief, even at its longest. Whatever you are going to do with your life, get started. Don't just let the seasons pass. Now, the third major lesson in life is to learn to nourish and protect your crops all summer long. Sure enough, as soon as you plant, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds will try to take over. And here's the next truth: they will take over unless you prevent it. There are two key phrases to consider with the third major lesson. The first is, all good will be attacked. Don't ask me why. I didn't participate in some of the earlier decisions, so I don't know why. I just know it's true. Let reality be your best beginning. Every garden will be invaded. The second phrase is, all values must be defended. Social values, political values, friendship values, business values, all must be defended. Every garden must be tended all summer long. If you don't develop this skill, you'll never end up with anything of value. The fourth major lesson in life is to learn to reap in the autumn without complaints. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. One of the highest forms of human maturity is accepting full responsibility. Learn to reap in the autumn without excuses if you did well, and without complaints if you didn't. That's maturity. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying it's the best way to be. The seasons don't work for you or against you. They simply are what they are. They're guaranteed to come every year, bringing both the positive and the negative. So it's up to you to remember the four major lessons of life, prepare for them, and make the most of what they offer. Now I want you to answer this question. What kind of person do I need to become to achieve all that I want? And I'll give you a moment to write that down now. What kind of person do I need to become to achieve all that I want? Now we have two things working. What you become helps you achieve, and what you achieve helps you become. And the more you become, the more you can achieve. And the more you achieve, the more you can become. Who knows which affects the other more? So now just write this exercise down. Start with a few sentences. We won't have time for you to take too long, but just start with a few sentences. Here's your concept of the person you think you need to become to achieve what you want. This is a moment for some truth here. Maybe you need to become much wiser than you are now. You need to become stronger. You need to have better health. Perhaps you need some training to truly become the person you want to become. You will need some training, physical training, spiritual training, skill development training to be the influence you desire. You need to build an incredible reputation. What kind of person must I be to attract all that I desire in my life, the people I want, and the opportunities I want? When you knock on the door and opportunity opens, you must be there as a very attractive person, or you might not be invited. One of the most mysterious and unique phrases Jesus used was, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if you open the door, you would probably invite him in." This extraordinary person, you would say, "Wow, yes." And he said, "If you invite me in, I will come in, sit down, and we will talk about the future." To be this kind of attractive person who, if you knocked on the door of opportunity and it opened and you were there, you would be the kind of person that opportunity would say, "Come in, sit down, and let's talk about the future." What kind of person? This exercise invites introspection and a commitment to self-development, recognizing that the changes we seek on the outside begin with internal transformations. Each person has the potential to attract success and opportunities through personal growth, continuous education, and the adoption of healthy disciplines. The process of becoming a better, wiser, and stronger person is ongoing and requires dedication, but it is crucial for achieving the goals we set for ourselves. Thus, the path to fulfillment lies not only in changing the circumstances around us, but in changing ourselves, in how we react and adapt to these circumstances, cultivating skills and values that better prepare us for the challenges and opportunities that life presents.